Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Hit the fucking like button. Great to see you, dude. Great to be back on again. I've been great, man. Besides the weather, bro, the weather has been atrocious in South Florida, bro. Like, this is like the earliest that I can remember in my 14 years living here that like hurricane season has started early. So, bro, like it's really hard. Again, I'm not drinking, so I'm not really looking to go out regardless. Because, like, dude, I feel like you go out and you just drop like $200. You're like, bro, how the fuck did this happen?
Yeah.
But it's hard to plan things though, bro. Like, I wanted to take my girl to the beach, and it's like, all right, let's go. Oh wait, it's pouring, so let's not go. And then it's like, oh, it's sunny, so let's go. And it's like, well, it's gonna rain in 3 hours, so you don't want to be stuck there. So that part of it sucks. But again, it's also nice to be a homebody. Bro, did you ever watch, because I know you're a movie buff, did you ever watch the second Avatar?
Yes, I did.
Bro, phenomenal.
Amazing.
Bro,
yeah.
Phenomenal, bro. Like, regardless of the things that were in my system to make me appreciate the colors more, like, the storyline is great. And I feel like that movie was still made for the same people. It was made for us, but like 10 years later, right? Because hypothetically, like, people our age are about to have kids or have kids. I feel like half that movie is about like the stresses of being a father, bro, because like that shit is just like him chasing his kids around and like trying to avoid fucking chaos. So,
Yeah.
but dude, an epic, like, kudos to James Cameron, because, bro, we watched that on Saturday night and I was like, wow, like I was fucking blown away by how good that movie is.
Yeah. No, that movie was great. And I think when the first one came out, I mean, obviously the first one is what made people anticipate the second one so much, but I kind of wish I had seen the first one in 3D because
Did you watch part 2 in 3D?
Yeah, I watched part 2 in 3D. I'm like,
nice.
This shit is so long. I'm like, I didn't have the chance to do it with the first one, and I just felt like it was one of those films where it was made for that. So we ended up watching it in 3D.
We didn't have it in 3D, but I mean, you see my setup at the house. So I have like a projector downstairs. So like it just felt like it was nice to like have like the surround. Like we felt fully immersed. But no, I feel you that you can tell those moments in the water, especially like with the guys on the boat chasing the whale. Like you know that shit comes out. I'm sure it came out crazy in 3D.
Yeah. No, it was sick.
But, a side note, apparently James Cameron, the director and writer, like removed a lot of like gun scenes because like he didn't want to have like too much violence in the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm like, bro, the way that you guys were shooting at this poor little whale, I'm like, bro, you probably should have removed some of this too. Because like, Gina was crying, like devastated. I'm like, yeah, they probably like this is a little too graphic. Like, this is kind of fucked up. So spoiler alert, anyone who hasn't watched it yet. But yeah, I thought it was better than the first one, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think the first one probably appealed to people because it was like first of its kind.
Nowhere, yeah.
But the second one definitely kept me engaged the whole time. And I don't know, the whole time I was hoping that we could eventually get maybe a more like immersive experience with it, because the 3D stuff is cool, but like after a while you kind of get used to it and it just doesn't necessarily hit the same as maybe something that would be more advanced. But overall, like a super dope film, just a little too long for me. Like I can't. It's kind of like that Pete Davidson Gunna song skit I sent you from SNL.
Yeah, I was like, this is like 4 minutes long, dude.
Like a movie for me has to be max like an hour 40 before I start like getting antsy.
Yeah, 2 hours for me, 2.5. You're like, oh, bro. Yeah, so like that's why. So my girl and we were watching it, like we were debating like what we're gonna order for food, and I'm like, bro, this movie's 3.5 hours long. Like we need to order the food now because I'm not waiting until this movie's over to then eat in like 4 hours. So no, I feel you, bro. Yeah, the movie was exactly like 3 hours, like 18 minutes. I was like, Jesus, bro. Like,
yeah.
But again, I do think though, like it's so entertaining and you're so sucked into the storyline that I didn't feel like, fuck, it's been 3 hours kind of a thing with this one. But still a very good movie, bro. But yeah, that was pretty much my weekend, bro. Just chilling, binging TV, reading a book. Oh, I would say if you haven't yet, dude, season 3 of Dave is phenomenal. Like, nice. Bro, great fucking writing. Dude, massive cameos by like everyone from Drake to Brad Pitt to little to what's fucking Jack Harlow, like bro, like the spectrum. So yeah, dude, if
Wow.
you even if you didn't fuck with the first 1 or 2 seasons, bro, if you just watch season 3, like it's a very dude, it's just like it's talking about like, proper like things that all men go through, but like not in a pushy way. Like there's mental health, cheating, um, not loving yourself, so you can't love people who love you. Like, bro, you're like, wow, like this guy is touching on dope subjects, but is still very much a rapper and like loves being a rapper. So it's just cool because again, it's normally when you get these like shows about rappers, it's like they try to
Yeah.
fucking pander and keep it like to one thing, and it's like, bro, like
Right.
this person has emotions. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. So is he a career rapper throughout the whole show, and is he a star already, or he's like attempting to be a star?
so season 3, he's essentially what he is in real life. Like this,
Okay, got it.
like he has a fan base. He's doing very well. Money's coming in. He's doing well, right? And then there's points. I don't want to spoil it, but there's points in the show where he then reaches a certain status because of something that went down. But yeah, season 3 is pretty much Lil Dicky, whereas season 1 and 2 is still him feeling even comfortable rapping in public, kind of a thing. Whereas in
Got it.
season 3, it's very much like he is who he is, and it's just like a documentary of like not a documentary, like a pseudo documentary, like following his life.
Dope. No, that sounds
Yeah.
super dope. And I've had trouble finding shows, but I don't know. Lil Dicky always seemed like someone who was a stronger, I don't know, like actor, like skit creator, writer
Hmm.
than someone who makes music that you actually want to sit and listen to. So
Yeah.
it's dope to see him feed into his talent, or like his strengths, I should say. And it sounds like everyone's like from Charlemagne to other
Yeah, the
people are
reviews I heard
applauding it.
the reviews are phenomenal. And then I would say like, and it's nice that he gives you moments where like when he's rapping, and you're like, oh
Mhm.
right, you're fucking also good at that. Cause like, yeah, like you kind of get lost and like, oh, it's like an actor doing a good job. It's like, no, bro, he's actually like a rapper. And like he's
Yeah.
talented to like make shit sound like, funny and entertaining. So yeah, I would highly recommend that. But yeah, man, it was a super lax weekend, more working out, seeing some gains in the gym, 21 days sober as of today. So that's been
Mhm.
going well. So yeah, man, just life is good right now. Can't complain. How about yourself, bro?
Things have been good. I can't say a whole lot has changed. Finally staying what's the phrase I'm looking for? Staying home essentially. Not I don't have like travel engagements, no
Except for next
weddings,
week.
except for next week, but at least it's home and close and easy.
Yeah.
I'll never complain about a 1 hour flight. Um, but yeah, other than that, yeah, just staying busy. I'm trying to continue with Spanish as much as possible.
Nice.
Now, like when I'm walking around, I hear it, which gives me motivation to keep going because uh I feel like a lot of times I question like how often am I really going to use this? Even if I'm perfectly native, chances are I'm not going to speak to you in Spanish. Or
Yeah.
sorry, not native, bilingual, perfectly
Hmm.
bilingual. Chances are I wouldn't speak to you in Spanish unless like we're talking shit about somebody on the bus or something. Um, so it's nice to hear it around me and know that it's a practical thing to learn, even
Yeah.
if I don't leave the U.S. So that's dope. And then still in kind of a music lull right now. I do have one song that I'm trying to finally record. I know I've said that a couple times, but sometimes I change my mind about how I want to approach it, and then I put it to the side, and I kind of want to work on something else. But this one I do like, so hopefully it'll be out soon. Um,
If you had
yeah,
to pinpoint where the lull is it just like you think from like all the traveling and just like, bro, I just want to fucking break from like my brain having to be kind of active in some way? Or what do you think it is?
I think so. And also like sometimes it's frustrating when I have an idea of how it sounds in my head and then I record it and like the flow that I was going for doesn't sound as good. So then I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta create a new flow or approach it differently. But I don't want to like force it and do it all in one night. So I'm like,
Gotcha.
I'll go in for 20 minutes, test something out, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. And then I'll maybe revisit it another day. And then also, of course, since I live with my wife, like in work, I can't record it like any time of the day without being loud and annoying. So
Mm, I got
that
you.
adds to it as well.
Got you. Like it gives you like almost like a forced creative thing where you're like you're not trying to really do.
Hmm. Yeah,
Gotcha, gotcha.
essentially.
And then we were just talking offline, so we can bring it online. So obviously, I know you're excited about going home to LA. I mean, you guys have officially been in the Bay for 2 years now, or are we going on three?
2 years, like two years and 2 months.
Okay, so so like, how do you guys feeling, bro? Like, how does like, what's the plan? Like, is it the plan like, let's find a bigger space? Like, do we love this lifestyle? Let's just stay here for another 2 more years. Like, where are you guys head at?
In general, I'd say I feel good about it. Like I love our apartment setup. Like the amount of natural sunlight is amazing. Not that we can't get it anywhere else, but
Terrible for
um,
editing, but amazing for life.
I know it looks like I'm in fucking like God's palace or some shit right now. Uh, but yeah, it's been good. I mean, there's been ups and downs. Like especially when I travel, I realize how crazy this city can be in terms of how they manage things. But
Mhm.
I mean, it is close to home. Um, I do like my job. It's probably the best job I've had since I
Nice.
joined the corporate world, in terms of work life balance, even. And I don't have any intentions of leaving anytime soon just because like I know how hard it is for me to feel this way about like the job and place I'm living.
Sure.
So the last thing I want to do is switch it up unless I have a really good reason. My wife, on the other hand, is doesn't really like her job mainly because of her boss. Um, so she's not too fond of the city, but I know her. She just likes moving around in general. Like she's
Yeah,
over
yeah.
every place after a year or two. So um, I think she's looking to get something more work from home, fully remote. And that way she kind of will have the ability to, be in LA for 3 weeks if she wants, or
Yeah, yeah.
go to another country and work from there. And I feel like for now, at least that's the best compromise. Um, but if we don't have kids, like obviously moving to another country will be a lot easier. So I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but I'm not eager to uproot everything.
Right,
Uh,
because life, like, overall, you do enjoy the setup and life just in the Bay, right?
yeah, like it's very simple and peaceful, and I just really don't have a whole lot to complain about. So I'm like, why stir things up? Especially because 2 years to me is not that much time in the grand scheme of things.
No, no, no. If you did two more, it's like, okay, that was a good half a decade, and like, cool. Like,
Right.
I properly experienced everything. Right. That's how sometimes I feel about my time in Charlotte. I was like, bro, I was only there for like 2 years, dog. Like, I like literally like I lived in one apartment for the entire lease, moved to another apartment. So really, I was actually like there for like a year and like no, it was 2 full years, like two full leases, and I was out. And I'm like, bro, like, yeah, I love Charlotte, but like, bro, I could have stayed like one more year to like properly
Yeah.
feel like I like. Because the thing is like about like that, like I only was in Charlotte. Like when I never like visited like the other parts of the Carolinas. So it's like, bro, like you didn't really do shit. Because like every time I had a vacation, I would dip to New York or Miami. So it's like I never really fucking just chilled in Charlotte. So no, I
Hmm.
get that, man. And your setup is fire, bro. So yeah, milk that shit till you can.
Appreciate it.
And
Yep.
is your rent about to go up at any chance, or is it still like a you're locked into like whatever rate you are?
We'll find out. Our lease is due up in September. Usually, I think they alert you a couple months beforehand. So they usually have a deal where they're like, if you sign it for another year, like keep it consistent, or if you do month to month, it'll go up. But I don't think it'll be anything crazy substantial that would make us, want to move immediately or anything
Sure,
like
sure,
that.
sure.
But I think that is a factor. Like if it ever gets to a point where the rent is just so insane and like the only option is to commute for like an hour and a half every day, then
Then you're
at
like,
that
then
point I'll change my
yeah,
mind because like that's a huge plus right now. It takes me 10 minutes to get to work. Um, and it's just so easy. But if things like that change, then life changes and you get more stress, and then you begin to weigh the options. Like, is this worth it still? Essentially,
yeah, yeah, no, dude, yeah, I feel that, bro. Like, especially like even like the work from home balance or like the hybrid model, which works at times. But then you're like, bro, you want me to come in a fourth day? Like, come on, bro.
right? Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm like, I don't know about this, bro. Let's see what LinkedIn has to say about this, bro. Because I don't know how I
Yep.
feel about this, but no, man, I'm glad that it's working out for you, bro. But all right, man, let's get into it. Episode 145. Episode 144 is currently up as well. But episode 145, we'll get to music in a second. But I feel like the biggest thing in the last like 2 weeks in like overall pop culture has been the Apple Vision Pro. I guess I mean I call them the VR goggles times whatever. That kind of give you a fully immersive view of all your computer systems. And I think the difference between this one and the Meta, tell me if I'm wrong, is that this one you can actually see through, like, and see the actual room around you. Whereas like the Meta one, you're kind of like in this not sunken place, but like a dark covered area, right? Is that pretty much the gist
Yeah.
of it?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. I think they call it pass through.
Okay.
So I think the newer Meta device, you can see uh around you for the most part, and in color, but there's like a lag and everything, so it's not nearly as, you still feel like you're wearing something, whereas apparently with the Vision Pro, it looks, even though it's a camera, it looks like you're just looking through regular sunglasses or regular
Mm.
glasses.
Well, goggles, bro, because those are like I don't have
Goggles.
any
Yeah,
glasses
yeah.
like that. But did you? So I'm coming from a perspective. I never tried the Meta Quest. Is it Quest?
Yeah, Quest.
Yeah, I never tried those out. Like for me personally, like yeah, I remember being at a work conference. Well, actually, when I was in Charlotte, like that was like almost 20. Dude, I would say 8 years ago, and there was like a guest speaker, and he was talking about like if you want to jump on a certain bandwagon in tech, VR and like augmented reality is the way to go, right? And I was like, bro, whatever, right? Make my PS3 or PS4 better. That's where my
Yeah.
head was at. But like, I just never got into it, bro. Like, my soon-to-be brother-in-law had it over one day, and I was like, bro, you look like a tool. Like, what is happening, bro? Like, because my thing is like, I see the game you're playing, and I'm like, these graphics look worse than my like Nintendo from like the 90s. So like, how the fuck am I meant to get excited about this?
Yeah, yeah.
But in seeing the Apple version of this, which seems obviously much better, this seems like something like I think even the passive, tech advocate would be like, this is intriguing. So for you, who's obviously in the tech space, like what's your level of excitement for like a product like that?
My excitement's super high, and I think it really was because I mean, we all know like Apple does a great job with products and doesn't just release something just because,
For the
like,
fuck of it, right? They don't need the
right,
money, right? So it's like,
right.
yeah.
But pretty much every single review I read of someone who used it, which are like influencers and tech gurus and stuff, every single one of them said they were mind blown. And these are all obviously people who have tested other products too. So it's not like
Mhm.
they only tested this one. They're like, it's miles ahead of everything else. Apparently, the with the demo, they obviously can't showcase exactly what it looks like from your own perspective because
Sure.
it's through your own lens, but apparently the imagery that they use to showcase the screens popping up and stuff, apparently it's that clear, and it's not like some fancy animation to exaggerate how
To
it
sell
looks.
you on it. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Apparently
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
why I feel kind of
exactly
when they
like the
like do like
movies.
those like video game demos. I'm like, bro,
Mhm.
the gameplay is never like this, bro.
Right,
Like,
right. Yeah, the gameplay's like movie quality, or the trailer at least, and then you play the game and it's all janky and laggy and
yeah,
cartoony, which I think kind of, remember way back when we did the podcast, I think it was on the metaverse or something.
yeah. Which is, I
And they
think
had
it's.
that
I mean,
trailer.
I think it's. Is it fair to say that flopped, or is still too early to say?
I don't think it flopped. I think it was just way, way too early, like, and cartoony. And it was only for like gaming, really,
Okay,
and communicating through these cartoony type avatars. Like, I don't think that is going to take off anytime soon until it's seamless, or if it does take off in a bigger way, I think it's going to have a very specific purpose. Whereas this headset felt like something the average person would use, because with the Quest, you're pretty much only playing games and like watching short little horror movie uh skits and stuff, and it's not really meant to FaceTime and watch an NBA game or something like that.
right.
So I think this is definitely going to change the game. Granted, it's still on your head though, and some people find that annoying, but I don't think it's meant to be worn out in public. I see people criticizing it, but as you saw with the AirPods, like, people made fun of that for however long, saying it looked like a toothbrush, I think, in your ear. And now everybody has them and doesn't think
Yeah, but I
twice.
mean, AirPods though. I mean, people wear headphones though, right? There's just like a
Mm.
different style of headphones. So
Yeah.
this is just like almost like a complete lifestyle change, which is like
Yeah.
was my reservation. I mean, maybe still my reservation, right? Besides the price, and we can get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I think it's more so like the idea of like I'm gonna sit in my couch in my house and now put on a device and like almost like disappear kind of a thing, right? I know we do that
Yeah.
with substances or whatever, but like that's like almost like again, rightly or wrongly, is more acceptable to a certain extent, right? If you had a rough day, have a beer and just sit down and go somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
But the idea of putting something on you, like, were you a fan of putting the Meta Quest? Like, have you ever done that yourself?
Yeah, I have, and I have it, but I don't. And I
Yeah,
actually
so
did it
so someone
last
who
night.
has it, how often were you actually throwing that on and felt like, oh, this is like a normal thing to do?
Not very often, at least not more after when I first got it, and it was the only thing like affordable and available. But I think it is one, it's very heavy. Two, you can't like see the real world um in front of you. So, if I want to get water or like talk to someone, I have to take it off every time, which is annoying. Um, and then on top of that, I pretty much only use for gaming. So if I'm gonna game, like I have to go out of my way to like remove myself. Whereas this new headset, apparently you can see everything around you. You can like dial in how immersed or
Okay.
not you want to be. And then I figure most people are going to use the apps that they're already doing. It'll be like the same as being on the couch and on your phone, except it'll be on your head and hands free. Or yeah, sorry, for like remote free. So you can just like pinch basically. And
Yeah.
if anything, I think it might be easier. I don't see people doing this obviously on the streets or on the bus necessarily, but if you're alone at home on your couch and it is as comfortable as they say, then I see it being pretty easy for someone to just strap it on real quick if it doesn't feel like you're actually wearing this heavy ass device that's blocking you out from everything.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to be so for people who are like maybe on the fence, right? Because I think obviously techies are going to fucking jump on this shit. It's just going to sell out, I think, like immediately, to be perfectly honest. There's going to be like some like PS5 shit that like you're like, you gotta have a cousin who has a connect. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
otherwise you're not getting this shit. But what do you think it's gonna like? What event or things you're capable of doing with the device do you think will get the passive person who kind of waits for trends to like, and all the reviews to come out before they jump on? Like, is it going to be concerts? Is it going to be, sporting events? Is it going to be just simply like having 17 monitors up while you're working and now like your work from home dynamic
Mhm.
changes completely? Like, what do you think is going to be the one or two things that trigger people to actually go buy this?
Yeah. I think the multiple screens and you know, home theater setup, like digital one, will be the nice to have stuff. But I think that this thing that's gonna make someone say, okay, I need this now are the live concerts, sports events, and things of that nature where you can basically be front row and get a premium seat or
Mm,
be right next to the person and pay a fraction of the price or maybe it's free and it's just some subscription every month or something. I think once people experience that it'll push them to purchase it because I did that actually with the Quest. They have like a live demo experience with a few different artists and the graphics are not nearly as good as what people describe for the Vision Pro. But even so, it sounded pretty crystal clear. The image wasn't fantastic, but it still felt like I could sense how crazy it'll be if the
mm.
graphics are improved. And I'm not saying it'll replace the live shows, but if you can easily attend shows left and right, because these artists are traveling everywhere and doing all kinds of stuff, you can pretty much go to a concert every night if you were fans of enough people. I think that
Yeah.
would compel people to buy it.
Okay. And what show did you go to
It
on
was
the
called
Quest?
it was Lucky Day. It was the artist. It was I forget the name of the performance. It was like Soul Sessions or something, but
Got it.
it
Got it.
was super dope. The only thing that was kind
Nice.
of weird about it though is like they're staring like directly into your eyes like the whole time. And when you go to a concert, you're not like used to that. Like you're seeing used to them engaging like with the crowd and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I necessarily want the experience that personalized, like, to where they're
Got it.
staring at you in the face, but then you can't engage back.
Got it. So you kind of want it to be like I'm just another person in the crowd, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I have
Yeah.
dope seats
Right.
because I have this experience. Got it. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I mean, dude, I think the video you sent me, or maybe another one, the idea of like the NBA games was seemed fire, right? But again, I guess I feel like I have to see the actual graphics play out, right? Because again, these athletes move so fast that like if there's even a bit of a delay and you're like, bro, what the fuck did I just, you know what I mean? Like if he gets the ball and you're like, the ball's here, but his arms haven't moved yet because the camera, I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
this is not it. But
It's funny that
yeah, I
you
mean,
said that. Your arms literally just did that as you described it.
yeah.
It froze for like a split second. You did that on purpose, by the way, if you're watching.
That was on purpose. That was our special effects. We know people. But yeah, but so again, let's go to the price point then real quick. So I think it's like what, 3,500?
Yeah, 3,500.
Okay, so your thoughts on that price point in today's just like economy in general?
Personally, I think it makes sense. I feel like this is really more a computer and not some toy for playing like mediocre 3D style games.
Mm,
Um, and also this is like early as well. So I think intentionally this is meant for the people who are like, I gotta have it, the early adopters who love new tech. It's clearly not um in its final version for every consumer to have. So I think the price point makes sense. I mean, a MacBook will run you about $3,000, and that's not even necessarily the top of the line
yeah,
version. Um, so I think if it does everything that it does and it's super comfortable and everything, the price makes sense. Obviously, the average person is gonna have to think hard if 3,500 makes sense. But I feel like over time, I'm sure there will be some lighter version that's like 2 grand. And I think
yeah,
more
yeah,
people
yeah.
would be willing to invest in that.
Yeah, I agree with that, dude. Because I feel like a lot of people initial pushback was like, bro, what the fuck do you mean $3,500, right? But
Mhm.
I would say like, if this thing is able to do everything it's telling you, dude, that's worth more than what my MacBook Airs cost. You know what I mean? And,
Right,
it's like obviously it should be worth it. Like if you're telling me I can be courtside at a fucking Nick game from Coconut Creek, Florida,
right,
that should cost some money, bro. You know what I mean?
right. And that's what
Like
you
I'm
would spend probably to be courtside for like one game.
For what exactly, dude? No, no, I get that. I have no pushback with the price point, and I also try to think back to like when I remember when my boy back in India, bro, when he had like I never had a Mac back in the day until college, but he had like the orange MacBook where like
Oh
the
yeah,
back of
yeah.
it was
The
like it was an
translucent or
iMac
whatever.
or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
like bro, and I know that shit was crazy expensive back then, and obviously that price substantially came down over time. So I think you're right. I think they're fully aware. They're not stupid. Like I don't think Apple ever does anything without like fully understanding the market for it. The early adopters are gonna fucking sell this shit out, and they're gonna love it. And then over time, they'll perfect it and then lower the price, right? And just make it more affordable for the average Joe to take part. But so I guess us being a music podcast, though, like, what are you most excited about from the music realm?
The music realm, I think the opportunity for indie artists to monetize it in some way and make money. Because think about it, like for someone like myself, let's say, who doesn't have thousands of fans, um, there's no venue that's gonna like just be like, yeah, come through and headline or
Mm,
whatever. Whereas if this technology gets advanced enough and I can in my personal room set up like the opposite end of the 3D camera and then tell all my, let's say I have 1,000 fans to tune in for $10, then I can make $10,000 right there. Um, and I didn't even have to worry about finding a venue to trust in me or, worry about overhead or whatever. Like I think that would be super dope and a way for pretty much any artist to make money off of, I guess, the most traditional or original way a
yeah,
musician would make money, which is like having people see them live. So I think that
yeah.
would be super dope.
That is a dope one. That is very, very much a dope one. I think also from it could be indie artists, but just artists in general, right? the collab aspect, right? Like if there's a version where like you need to meet up with someone in the studio, but you both have access to like the headset, like there could be a way where like he's just like helping you or you're like giving immediate feedback as opposed to like, you know, like a Zoom call, right? Because you can probably like touch exactly what needs to get touched from your standpoint to make a song sound a certain way.
Hmm.
So I think from like just the collaboration standpoint, like I feel like a lot of more artists will be linking up in a way that maybe wasn't feasible back in the day. Cause like, bro, I can't, first of all, I don't have a studio to rent out with you. And then I also can't catch a flight to LA for 3 hours because that's the only time you have in your calendar, some shit. So I
Right,
think from a
right.
collaboration standpoint, it might be fire as well.
Yeah. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if eventually, you know, these podcasts like, Flagrant or whatever, where everyone's in one room, you could just subscribe and then you can log into the goggles and feel like you're literally sitting on the couch,
Well, they
right
kind of
next to
have that
Ali.
already though on the Quest. So I think some
Oh, they do?
podcasts already do that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, because the only reason I know this, bro, is because I was looking for I'll say the name of the podcast in a second, but I was looking for that podcast and I found like it said VR episode 14. And in my mind, because I never watched Quest, I'm like, or whatever, I don't have the thing. So I'm like, I didn't even know, like, I didn't even register what that meant. So I
Mhm.
clicked on it and I'm like, bro, what fucking camera angle? Like, what cameras do they use? Like,
Oh,
this is
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm dizzy as fuck. And it's because it was the VR version of the
Got
episode.
it.
That
Okay.
was so the Matt Hoffa
Yeah,
podcast
yeah.
where like, they're all at the barbershop, you know. And I was, dude, I'm telling you, I got a fucking headache because I was like, bro, like this doesn't make sense. Like, so yeah, but again, better versions of that can obviously, you know, yeah, that's dope. Obviously, concerts make sense. What else would be dope, bro? I mean, yeah, even more like just fucking fan experiences, right? Like, think about how much people pay for to see Post Malone pre-show. You know what I mean? Like that can be a whole different experience now if all he has to do is just jump in front of a camera and you have a headset that will make you feel like you're right there with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people would do it. I mean, I watched Coachella, part of Coachella live while it was happening on my TV. And if I had a headset that was comfortable enough, I definitely would wear it, especially if I felt like I was damn near on stage or whatever,
Yeah.
and it didn't make me sick or anything like that.
Yeah. So then what are your overall, like, just like, I don't want to say concerns, right? Because I think like that's a great point. Like people are already doing versions of this. And like we're so quick to forget when like a new thing comes out. We're like, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Mhm.
So but do you think there's any like concerns or like, you know, like maybe better understanding people should have before they, pick one up or something?
Um, I guess I'm concerned for the people that are kind of already addicted to these devices. Like, for instance, look at all like the thirst trapping Instagram models or whatever. Like if it gets to a point where they can afford the camera where it feels like you're in their bedroom, I can see
Mhm.
people straight up forgetting to go to work. Like they're just like, "Oh shit, I got to stay in this room and
Yeah,
save
yeah,
this
yeah.
post and feel like I'm here forever." Um so it's just like all the content we're already engaged with is just going to be better. And I can see a world where the Instagram stories, like if you're in Mallorca, instead of just seeing, your view of your food, eventually, I mean, if it's simple enough and you can record it, I can damn near feel like I'm on the boat with you and
Mm.
really experience it. And before you know it, like every story is so intriguing that you're just like, why would I even take this headset off? Like, this is
Yeah, I
too
think
dope.
that's like where my head was going, right? Especially like watching Avatar and thinking back to Avatar, the first one. You're like, this is wild at how like all this is happening from, him being immersed in like the tank, but essentially it's the same exact idea, right? So,
Mhm.
yeah, my concern is more so for those people who are already addicted to the way things are now, right?
Mhm.
Like, dude, my biggest like pet peeve is when I drive by the parks I used to go to as a kid, like in New York, and the parks are fucking empty. And I'm like, bro, like it's summertime. Like, bro, we wouldn't be able to find a playground that wasn't packed. And
Right.
like now, like
Right.
that feels like that never fucking happens, bro. So because kids are at home just, so
Mhm.
immersed into everything they have. Like, even though we had video games before, again, the experiences are so much better now that they're like, bro, like I can play with my boy who's in fucking Sri Lanka. Like, why would I want to stop doing this kind of a thing? So
Yeah.
my concern more so is, again, it's happening. Like, nothing's stopping this. This has left the fucking marina. But I think it's like, I hope that people are still able to remember that, yes, dude, putting on a headset and feeling like you're courtside at a Knicks game sounds amazing, bro. And if you can do that because you live in a different city, great. And if you can't afford going to the game, great. But it's never going to top being there. So, like, I
Mhm.
just hope people don't forget, like, yo, the actual experiences that you're enjoying are great, but like, don't forget to also go enjoy them. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whereas a point, like, thinking this is the only way you'll ever experience it.
Right. And another thing too is with the 3D, I guess, memories, apparently that like drew tears from a lot of people because they felt like
Oh,
they
so
were
walk me through
really,
that because I didn't see the full
yeah.
like the thing.
So basically with the headset, you can take like 3D video so that when you play it back, you can like literally look around and feel like you're in that moment again.
Oh, I
Like
got
it's
you.
not
Okay,
just
so it's a video, but it's like the way it's
Mhm.
set up, it makes you feel fully immersed in that moment.
Right. From that
Okay.
person's perspective. So you almost feel like you're like a ghost watching someone's memory. And someone said it felt so real and vivid that they felt like they could almost just touch the person.
Mm,
Um, but my fear though is like with certain memories of whether it's people or animals, like let's say you never see them again, they pass away or whatever. Like I feel like part of grievance is acceptance and moving on. And I don't know if I necessarily would want to like be so close to feeling like the person's still there, but they're not. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like would I want to be that reminded of like a shell of that person as opposed to just standard photos and videos? And who knows? I mean, I guess you could say the same thing with photos and videos, but
Sure.
um
Sure. Sure.
that perspective is like the closest I guess we could get to like immortality in a way.
Yeah, dude. Because the funny thing you say that, that's actually very funny because, and spoiler alert again about Avatar 2. But that was probably I was moved to tears at the end of the movie when they were able to still connect to whatever the mother is, you know what I'm talking about, and they could see their son. Because
Mhm.
I was like, I started crying because I was like, bro, that would be fire, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like being able to see someone who's passed. Again, it's not like in today, you're still going back to, you know, whatever memory, but it's still, you can interact. And it's like, oh shit, like bro, I would love to fucking do that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, yeah, like, I don't know, that could be dangerous, right? But I mean, to the same point, like people probably do that shit now, right? Like think about, you know, I have moments where I'm looking at pictures of my mom and, yeah, I'm sure it'd be different if I felt like I could just fucking like touch her or something, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, dude, it's again, it's going to be very interesting. But I do think to your point though, I don't think this is ever. I mean, I don't want to say that, bro, because like, there's going to be something new in like 20 years that blows our fucking mind. But like, I do truly think this is an at home experience. Like,
Mhm.
I don't, even if like they come out with fire like Google Lens glasses or some shit like from back in the day, like, bro, like, I don't know, man. I can't envision this becoming now like a part of like fashion culture. And like people are creating fucking, you know, fits that go with their fucking goggles. Like, I don't like that. I'm like, bro, really, bro? Like, you want to just be around, like, doing that shit? Like, I can see that happening on your phone. Like, if you hold your phone up to something and like
Mhm.
something may project, but the idea of like you wearing something outside seems like that part seems wild to me.
Yeah, outside seems wild. If I had to guess, there I mean, there eventually will be a fashionable version, but I think with given the size that it has to be and how thin, I think the outside version will only be meant for like outside type shit. Kind of like an Apple Watch can't do everything. I
Mm,
think the thinner one, maybe as you walk by restaurants and shops, you can see the reviews or deals that are happening and see a phone call come through, but you won't be able to watch the NBA game or something along
something
those
like that.
lines. Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm excited. So as of right now, when's the was it the release date next year?
It's said early 2024. I think officially, but some people say spring.
Okay.
Who knows? But definitely not anytime soon.
I mean, that's a year from now. It's not fucking.
True.
I mean,
Yeah, it's not that far away.
so
But
you're thinking
I
about
guess
a
things are always
fucking.
subject to change.
As someone who has a wedding in the spring, you're thinking about a gift, cash or Vision Pro, like whatever works for you.
That'd be fire. And record the whole wedding, like open it up
Dude,
at the
yeah,
wedding.
I might have to do. I just paid for the photographer. I might have to fire that bitch and be like, yo, actually,
That'd be so funny.
it'll be cheaper for me to buy a Vision Pro and give it to my boy to fucking just record the whole thing, bro. So that's funny, dude. But yeah, I'm excited. And dude, if we can, hopefully one of us gets it when it comes out, and we can do like a demo here. And yeah, it'd be interesting at that point, a year and a half from now, hypothetically, what we can do for even the podcast. You know what I mean? Like if we did a fucking live thing and we could see our fans or something. So again, exciting things to come. And we'll see how impactful it is to the industry as a whole, but specifically to us in content and music. All right, bro. So to me personally, the biggest thing, I feel like we've been talking about this dude nonstop, but I think this one's actually the most warranted. Gunna came out with a new album. And I keep listening to the fucking album. I forget about the name. A Gift and a Curse. It is 15 tracks, 45 minutes long, no features, all Gunna. What were your thoughts, my G?
Overall, I liked it. I think it sounded honestly exactly how it would sound. I think he addressed the things I knew he was gonna address. I feel like he did spend a little too much time addressing the stuff and kind of like almost wanted you to feel bad for him. To be honest, I didn't pay attention to much of the lyrics after like the first couple songs. I just was vibing out and enjoyed the smooth flow that he always has. And I think I just realized towards the end, like he'll be fine if he continues producing music like this. Clearly, the majority of his fan base aren't people who care about like the morals of snitching and things like that. So I don't see this really doing anything to his career in the long term, in a negative way.
Yeah, in a negative way. No, I think what's coming out almost a week post release is that I feel like everything's up from here, bro. Because I mean, I thought we were getting blessed with a single, but I didn't think we were going to get an album right away, and that happened immediately. And bro, all the feedback I see on my timeline and people's TikToks and comment section is like, bro, like kudos, like great fucking job, bro. Like, because man, like first of all, like it's funny you said you didn't listen to his lyrics after the first couple of songs, bro. This guy is so fucking melodic that he could be speaking a different fucking language, bro, and I would still be like, bro, like his flow is just so good, bro. Like so good that like, again, he could be saying anything. So I just think he was able to flawlessly go over these beats. I do want to give a shout out to his producer. I think Turbo something, but that's like the producer he's always had. So like, I was nervous about what it was going to sound like. Cause I was like, bro, like I know he's not going to get a Dre feature or Future feature or Nav feature. Cause like everyone's still in this fucking limbo. Is it still going to sound the same though, right? Or is producer going to fucking switch on him? So like, once you got the idea that, this is going to be the same kind of energy you always got from Gunna, I was like, all right, dude, I'm all in. And then, I did feel like the first 5 songs, honestly, it was maybe not every song, but there was like 1 or 2 lines that he's always addressing the snitching situation. Now I'm like, bro, I wish like you went all in on bread and butter. Like, all right, man, let's move the fuck. Like, like we want to hear you. You know what I mean? So I think on a few songs we got that right. Like, fuck you mean, cash shit. There's I think cash shit. There's one called is it rich as shit? Cash shit. Fuck you mean. Rodeo Drive. Oh, Born Rich. Like he does talk his shit. But man, I was just very impressed with him, bro. I think this proved, bro, if you're good at rapping and like we never fucked with you for the gimmicks anyway, that we're gonna fuck with you if some shit like this goes down. Case in point, like 6ix9ine, right? Mm-hmm. Like 6ix9ine got busted for snitching. Were we ever really fans of him before? Like we fucked with a couple of the songs, right? They were like fucking like a movement. You're like, bro, this is fucking so aggressive. This is dope. But like we were also more intrigued for the antics. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, what's he gonna do today? But bro, once he came back and we're like, oh, the music sucks. We're like, bro, we're good, bro. Like,
Right.
be a snitch, don't be a snitch. We don't care anymore. Whereas with him, I think it's very much like, oh shit, dude, yeah, like we fuck with you because you're a great rapper and you're still rapping great, dude. I have no issue with you then, bro. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, dude, good for him, bro. And I think this also proves a feather in his hat that, like, bro, I don't need features to be great. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be
Mhm.
nice, and I'm sure he'll get them back eventually, even if it's like a different kind of artist. But this was a great, like, him to draw a line to say, I'm like, nah, bro, I'm here. Like, and
Mhm.
I'm not going anywhere. We'll see what Young Thug has to say when his album, maybe drops tonight or on Friday.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I was just very happy for him, bro, because again, we've said before, we think the world of Gunna, and it would have been shitty if he just came out of jail and like his career completely just it was a shitty album. The fans didn't embrace it. He just like gives up, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I do want to add a disclaimer now that you reminded me about the upcoming Young Thug album. But if Young Thug like flat out says like don't mess with Gunna, he's a snake. Like how could he do this to me? Like I gave him life, basically. I do think it will affect Gunna's image more than it already has. I don't think Gunna's career will be over. I just think a lot of people that were on the fence might change their minds. But at the end of the day, similar to what you mentioned about 6ix9ine, I think 6ix9ine's rap career failed mainly because
He can't
he didn't
rap.
have the talent. He had a
Yeah.
team that would write for him and make dope beats and stuff, but he didn't have the talent to sustain it. And then on top of that, he wasn't a likable personality. People wanted to see
Yeah.
him crash. Whereas Gunna kind of minds his own business for the most part. He has a smooth
Everyone's
flow.
always liked him, bro.
Everyone's always liked him. He kind of minded his business for the most part. So for that reason, I think people are willing to give him a second chance. Also, there's not like, I guess there is the video of him saying all that stuff, but it's not like he directly said, Young Thug's responsible, lock him up, let me go. Like,
Yeah.
it's still kind of murky to a
It
lot of
is.
people.
I think that's helping him a lot. But I would say, man, back to the point about Young Thug, is I do agree it may sway a few people, but I do since Gunna's album came out first, I think enough people are like who were really on the fence and like, yo, I'm not letting go until Thug says something, have let go a little bit. And like, bro, like, oh, this kind of slaps. I don't really want
Yeah.
to, maybe Young Thug has his perspective on things, but because he was behind bars, he may have not heard the whole. I don't know. I feel there's enough people who can rationalize still fucking with Gunna if Thug comes out with some like crazy shit about him, because I do think the album just was very good, bro. Like I'm seeing NBA athletes using those songs on like their TikToks and shit. And I'm like, bro, that wasn't happening back in the day if like people were saying you're a snitch, no one fucked with you, bro. And like a lot of people are like aggressively reposting shit and like using the sounds like almost like, yo, like we're good with this, bro. Like again, you
Mhm.
didn't snitch on us. And yeah, bro, like again, this is surprising, but in a good way, because we've been saying like, bro, like why do you care? Like why
Yeah,
do you care about some street shit that you've never been involved in your life and never will be, right? So I'm actually grateful that things are moving in this direction. If it's warranted, if the artist is talented enough that you should still keep listening to them.
for sure. And it just goes to show, like, I mean, none of these artists are perfect human beings. And I think snitching falls in the category of pretty much everything else that they make headlines for, whether it's, beating up some random person, you know, killing a random person, or not random, but someone, around the rapper for whatever reason, or assaulting someone. Like there's just so many cases of that happening and get swept under the
Yeah.
rug in like a week. But all of a sudden, because he said, yes, ma'am, it is a gang or whatever he said, now everyone's up in arms and wants to pretend like, they're a street general.
Yeah. They actually know the code, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I highly recommend everyone go peep the album if you haven't. It's very good. And again, I think what I also do like, side note, because I know we always appreciate this, it's also like you can't skip any songs because it's actually pretty impressive how like every song flows perfectly together with the next song, right? Like it's almost
Mhm.
like a perfect playlist. It's like if you fuck up the way it's set up, like you're really gonna miss out some pretty cool artistry from him and the producers.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think it was very cohesive. Um, I mean, some of the songs for me personally sounded like on the generic side for him, or like very
Sure.
similar to some of the other songs. But overall, I think it was solid, and I like that he stuck to the formula. I guess his formula.
Yeah. Yeah. And not thinking he had to like switch up his whole everything because now he's like a different artist, right? So no, shout out to
Mhm.
Gunna. Yeah, that's it. But I'm also excited to see if Young Thug drops anything or if that was like a thing to get people off Gunna's dick for a week or something, but we'll
Yeah.
see. All right. So next topic, Doja, or do you want to talk about Utopia?
Uh, let's talk about Doja.
Doja. Okay, so Doja came out with a new single. What the fuck was that song?
I think it
Uh,
was called,
Attention.
yeah, Attention, right?
Attention. The artwork is
Yeah.
wild.
Hmm.
Shout out to her body and her trainer. Um, yeah, I guess. I mean, what did you want to talk about specifically about the song? Like that, she's like rapping more than normal. And what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I feel like she's been making headlines recently. People were saying she's gone crazy, she's gone satanic, you name
She's
it.
been this these. I feel like she's been these things though, bro. Like,
She's been these things, but like I think it's visually more shocking because she's like shaving her head and like doing
yeah,
all
yeah,
kinds of things that make her seem crazier. Whereas before, like she quote unquote looked normal, and people were like, "Oh, she's sexy. She's just acting a fool, acting goofy." But now people are like pointing out triangles and shit in the back of her photos, trying to make it seem like the Illuminati has
yeah. The
gotten
black and
her.
white squares on the floor. It's like, bro,
Right.
leave the fuck alone with this shit.
But yeah, I don't know if you saw the video to this song, but
I did not. I
um,
only peeped the song.
yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought her bars and flow were impressive and clever and on par with, I guess Nicki Minaj might be the quick comparison, though I
Yeah,
think
'cause I feel
they're
like
still
Nicki
very
is the
different.
standard, right? Like if anyone's
Mhm.
going to be compared to like a good female rapper who does the sexy thing as well, I think like Nicki is the standard, right? Because I think
Mhm.
we all love Cardi, but I think we could all agree Cardi can't rap like Nicki Minaj, right?
Nah, like you're not going to Cardi for crazy wordplay. She makes
Right, right. You're going
bangers.
for because like it's yeah, exactly. It's fun. You're gonna have listeners, and she's not a bad rapper, but I just
Mhm.
think like I think Nicki Minaj has proven like she can like I don't think maybe now because it's so sexual, it's been sexual, so it's not a recent thing, but there was a point in time, bro, like she wasn't viewed as like a female rapper, bro. Like she's like a
Mhm.
rapper, right? And that probably might be one of be like the biggest compliments anyone can give her because I feel
Yeah,
like in that like early like 2010 to 12 range, like people were just going for her for bars, like
yeah,
not
like
just because like
Monster.
she's not just like a sex symbol. Like that's cool too, but like she was rapping her ass off on these fucking
Yeah.
songs.
Yep. No, she held her own, especially on that song, Monster on Dark Twisted Fantasy. Um, and I feel like Doja's in that same camp. We have a lot of other talented female rappers out now, but I still feel like their
Yeah,
content is so like I'm a I'm a bad bee and I know how to suck D and twerk and all this other stuff.
yeah,
And
bro.
like that's
I do. I'm telling you,
90% of
like
the bars.
when I'm like on TikTok, Instagram, or even like at work or anywhere, any public space, bro. If I hear a woman like refer to herself as a bad bitch, like bro, like you just go down so many points in my brain, bro. Like I'm
Mhm.
just like I'm mentally jaded and disgusted. Like I'm just
Yeah.
like, bro, like who fucking says these? Like,
Right.
yeah, yeah. But whatever. So back to Doja Cat though.
Yeah. Um, and I listened to several Doja Cat songs back to back, and I always appreciate her verses where she's rapping because
Mhm.
it's not like she hasn't done it before. But I was intrigued by this one because it was like straight up rap. I think the chorus was singing, but it was a different perspective, and to me, it was kind of a response
Yeah, that's
to
what I got.
everyone. Like it was like, hey, I'm more than just this hot pop star that is goofy. Like I'm an artist and a regular person at the end of the day, and let me show you my true talent. So it kind of got me excited to see what else she can do. Cause I heard before this that she announced she was
It's
scrapping like
quitting
the pop
music.
stuff. Yeah. And now she's going the hip hop lyricist route for this album. And I'm pleasantly surprised because I thought she was gonna go the easy route of taking like some dusty New York sampled beats and just rap about a bunch of random shit, and hope that we like give her respect, you know. But
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think that's what we're gonna get. So I'm actually
yeah.
excited.
No, if this song is an indication, you're gonna get like her actually trying to, prove herself and not just, hey, I can do it on a couple of verses, but for the most part, I'm singing, but in a very like macho way. Which I get. I think that's like kind of like what her flow is, right? Like you normally,
Mhm.
it's just like a lot of like 75% singing, and then the rapping is also kind of like sing songy at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas this was very clear, like, I'm rapping and I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. And if you don't like me for shaving my head, I wasn't gonna fuck you anyway. It was kind of like some one of the lyrics she talked about. So yeah, man, dude, Doja can in my eyes and ears can do no wrong, right? Because again, I was blown away by her performance at Coachella last year. Dude, it's just
Oh, I forgot
she
about
has
that.
so many hits, bro. Like just
Yeah.
so many hits. Like it's insane for a woman I don't even think is 30 years old yet to be like that successful. So, bro, like I think when you are
Mhm.
have been at that level for, I mean, maybe like 4 or 5 years now, like I think you earned the fucking right to just do whatever the fuck you want, bro. You know what I
Right.
mean? Um, like for example, I don't want to say like I'm picking and choosing who I give that label to, but like for example, like Post Malone, right? We love him, but I also think, bro, like in hindsight, you gave us like two really good albums and kind of just like got like repetitive and boring for a while, right? And like the songs were hitting where I was with her. I mean, bro, since the moment she kind of got on, it's been nonstop hits, and no one's ever really questioned, the quality for music. So,
Mhm.
bro, like, dude, if you want to rap and shave your head and look crazy, like, bro, do what the fuck you want, bro. Because I mean, the music's still fucking hitting. So, I mean, that's all
Yeah.
we asked for.
For sure. And I hate being the guy who's like, "Oh, I knew this artist before everyone else or whatever." But I do remember, I think a friend of mine shared me her song called I think it's called So High. But that song's absolutely fire. And I think I heard it way back in like 2012 or something. It was
Okay,
like 10 years ago. And um, I fell in love with the song, but I didn't really check out any of the rest of her stuff. But that was one song that I just always went back to. And
nice.
everyone has like a couple artists that they listen to that aren't that big, and in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, they'll probably never blow up, even though I think this song is amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so to see her not only blow up, but like be like top five A-list musicians right now or whatever is just insane to me, and was just a reminder of how, things can not change overnight, but change pretty significantly with time and luck and just and talent as well in this case.
Yeah, dude,
So
but I also think like just consistency, right? Like just
yeah,
fucking
consistency.
constantly showing up. Because like, bro, I was having this conversation with my boy last night. Because we were talking about, I think there was like, I think you sent me a couple weeks ago or last week, the that kid who signed to Twitch or Kick who's getting like $100 million for like
Yeah,
two
yeah.
years. And like just the idea of that is wild, right? But like think about it, man. Like you and I have both, demanding careers. You're married, I'm engaged, planning a wedding. Like we have families, we have our own individual things we like to do. Like we have a lot going on, right? And yet we still do this, right? And obviously we have the luxury of enjoying what we do. We love doing this, like it's a fun hobby, right? But we also do this with the idea, like, God, man, I really hope one day, like, one of these things, like, just hit, and
Hmm.
this can become all that we do, right? That's the fucking dream, right? So
Yeah.
it's sick when you find an artist who like 10 years ago no one was fucking with, and now is the biggest fucking thing when it comes to music. Like that's
Right.
insane, bro. So no, man, kudos to her. Like, yeah, that's the fucking dream, right? Like obviously
Yeah.
I mean, if we could make money from anything, but dude, the idea of like making money from like the one thing you love doing the most, like, bro, like
Hmm.
insane. I think I was watching a
Right.
Rick Rubin interview that's like a couple weeks ago, and he was like it's ideal if your purpose is aligned with your job, right? Like that's you reach nirvana, right? But most times it's not, dude.
Hmm.
Sometimes your purpose is not what you do for a living, and like that's okay, right? Maybe
Yeah.
what you do for a living can help you fund what you want to find your purpose in, right? So
Right.
I personally think I'm in that realm right now. I don't know about you, but like, dude, kudos to these people who like are able to combine both and like make a living off it, bro. Because that's the
Yeah.
fucking dream, bro.
Right.
Like it,
And I was
nine to
talking
five is
to
needed, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was talking to my Spanish tutor yesterday, and he asked me, we were talking about like work in general, and he asked me if
All in
uh
Spanish?
yeah.
Nice.
if I wanted to do music like as my job. And I basically told him um yes and no. And part of the reason why I said that is I know at least I'm self-aware enough to know that sometimes when your passion becomes work, then it may or may not be as exciting as it once was. So
Mm.
I basically think there has to be a balance, like between that. And I think Doja Cat probably feels the same. I'm sure she still loves music, but I think at this level, like the amount of pressure and shit
Yeah,
she
yeah.
has
She's like, this
going.
isn't fun anymore. Like,
Right.
fuck you. I'm shaving my head. Fuck you guys.
Right. Like maybe at
Yeah.
this point it's not fun because she's experienced like the peak of the peak. Like every fucking person loves you and sings every word of your song. It's like what more could you possibly get out of this? So I think that explains her transition. But um the other thing I was gonna say about the consistency is I'm pretty sure she went viral because of that one Moo
The
song,
cow.
Bitch I'm a
The
Cow.
cow.
And she probably didn't think it was gonna take off to that degree. I'm sure she
Yeah.
knew it might get some clicks and shit, but it's crazy how it's like when you're not trying to necessarily force it, you can go viral. And I,
Yeah.
I feel like that very well might happen with this podcast. We might be talking about the most random thing, and then for some reason that clip goes viral.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was seeing a thing on TikTok about this like influencer who like she was trying to promote her company. I'm sure you've seen it too. Like the little
Mm,
tiny girl, and she was like she had a regimen. Like, bro, I'm gonna post something every hour, blah blah blah, and like the videos did nothing. And then she just changed everything and just started like stop thinking about it. She'll just post 10 random videos back to back to back to back to back, and bro, she blew up to have like 3 million followers. It's like
damn.
you know what I mean? Like it could be like the most random tactic that just happens to like work for you. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, I think the advice and the lessons from that is to try everything, right? And then keep trying it. If you still love what you're doing, like who gives a fuck, right? Like
Right.
if it doesn't pop for us, if we never get bigger than this, then dude, who cares, bro? We've had fucking however many episodes of like fire time just talking about bullshit. So
Yeah.
but yeah, to her though, I personally think she's in a lane right now where I think the labels don't give a fuck. Like I don't even think her fans give a fuck, bro. To be perfectly honest, like just do whatever the fuck you want. As long as we get music, I think with her, like I feel like she's like in this rare air where like the music's gonna be good. Like
Yeah.
whatever genre she tries to give us. So it's just like, all right, man, like if you're gonna rap, bro. If you want to do fucking country, I'm sure you'll figure out a way to make it good as well. Like it's
Yeah.
fine.
I feel like it's a fan base that just trusts whatever she does or says. And she's one of the few people that can like really be weird and be herself and
Yeah,
gets applauded for it. Like every other
yeah.
artist would be like, they'd be like, oh, you're falling off, you're crazy, you're weird. They love it.
I mean, dude, honestly, it may just be her and Kanye, to be perfectly honest.
Hmm.
Like, cause think about it, Kanye's when he did the Donda release and he was out here looking crazy with the
And Tyler the
red and
Creator.
Tyler created too. That's a great one. That's great. But again, I think Tyler is still niche though, bro. Like,
True.
and that sounds crazy to say to a guy who's
True.
won back-to-back hip-hop albums of the year. But bro, like Tyler's not Doja and Kanye. Whereas like those guys are worldwide fucking, there's still hip
True.
hop fans who don't fuck with Tyler. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
I think like those it's wild to see an artist at that level be like, bro, I'm gonna just fucking flip it on this next album. And everyone's like, all right, like do your thing.
Yeah.
Because even like Drake can't do that, bro. Drake gives us old
No.
Drake, and we're like, bro, get the fuck out of here with this shit.
Right, right. Also, Drake is like, I don't think we've ever dove deep into this, but I feel like Drake has already crossed into the street associated realm like several albums ago. So he kind of like can't be a weirdo at this point.
Well, I mean, yes and no though, man, because I mean, I know it's just it's modern day society, so many things are different now. But I mean, him coming out with the fingernails, finger
Oh,
polish
yeah, true.
was fam. Like, where are we doing that in Canada, bro? Because that's. But again, I also think that shit's becoming more acceptable in hip hop too, right? Because Tyler's doing it, Yachty does it, so
Yeah.
it may not be frowned upon. But yeah, I just think Doja and Kanye are the only two artists I can think about, bro, that they can come out with anything and look however, and like their fan base is so massive that their fan base becomes pop culture, right?
Hmm.
Because they just have so many fucking fans, bro. Like whereas like again,
Yeah.
like, Tyler is so like hip hop diehards may not fuck with him, but like his niche is still very big to obviously sustain a very successful career.
Yeah, yeah. No, agreed.
All right, do you want to do Utopia features, or do you want to do Heat of the Week?
Um, we could do Heat of the Week.
All right, cool. So Heat of the Week, episode 145, almost in the books. All right, my G, what's a song that had you bopping your head a lot this weekend?
So if I'm being honest, when I'm looking at or thinking about what I played the most recently, it looks like Wiz Khalifa came out with a new album called Sia. Has a shit ton of songs on it. I don't know if necessarily
Bro,
needed
how
all
does
of
he do
these.
that shit, bro? Again, another artist who does not give a fuck what he puts out, bro.
Well, it's what's impressive to me is like his content on each song is pretty much the same,
The
but he
same, bro.
somehow finds out a new hook or like a new melody of some sort, and it still feels like new enough to put out. Like someone's gonna love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, and again, he has those diehard potheads who fuck with him, bro. So
right.
again, good for him.
And another person with an insane international fan base. Um, but the song in
Do you
particular,
think he's bigger internationally right now than he is locally?
I kind of feel like it.
I think so
Um,
too, bro.
maybe like I'm sure he shuts shit down like when he performs in like California and stuff because he kind of just fits the culture. But in general, like I haven't really heard much chatter about him like from friends and things like that. Like no one's really checking
No
for
one's
what he's
checking for him,
doing.
bro. Like these album drops are almost like surprises at all time.
Hmm. But yeah, he's kind of like Snoop Dogg, that dude who still makes music from time to time. You love him, you'll check him out if he happens to be around, and it's he's there, but you're not staying up at night like waiting for the
No,
new
no, no,
drop.
no. But I would say shout out to Snoop though, because he had a verse in the Keitra Mine album that was fire, bro.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
that. Yeah. So shout out to him. But yeah, go ahead. Wiz Khalifa,
no,
see
he
ya.
still got it. And I sent you this song, but it's called No Invitation. Um, personally, might be the best
Oh, the
song.
song is called No Invitation?
Mhm.
Okay.
The song is called No Invitation. Uh, personally, I think that beat and song might be the best overall on the album. Kind of reminded me of older Wiz. Uh, again, didn't do anything too crazy lyrically or different from what you're accustomed to, but at the same time, I feel like artists don't need to. They should stick to their strengths, and I don't think I would
I
necessarily
agree with that,
want
dude.
anything else from him. So it was just like exactly what I wanted, and it was dope. And I played it several times.
Yo, I gotta fix the. No, that song was good, dude. So I will give you that. Obviously, by the time that this podcast comes out, the playlist will be fixed with that song. So I fucked up and added the entire album. So like, anyone's currently on the Apple Music thing right now, the recording, like they're probably going, "What the fuck just happened?" But I'll clean that up, bro. Because yeah, the entire album is definitely not Heat of the Week material, but
Yeah.
it's that song is very good, dude. So I'll give you to that one. So, dude, for me, has to be Gunna. I play that album a lot. It's a very enjoyable thing. I think, most vibes I would in this weekend as far as working out or just chilling at the crib, with something, I was smoking on something. So, but for me, it's the one that's going viral on TikTok as well. Fuck You Mean, bro. That production is crazy.
Mhm.
And the way that song leads into
Right.
Rodeo Drive, like, bro, again, this shit could be just one big song. Like the whole album could just be one
Mhm.
big song.
The background vocals too.
But yo, bro, everything, bro. The ad
Yeah.
libs, bro. Like again, like this is a very well done album, bro. Like I think this album, because again, it just forced you to pay attention because you're like intrigued. Like you start understanding, like, oh, bro, this guy's a very good artist, bro. He's not just like in Young Thug's shadow. Like this guy can hold his own. So again, happy for him. And I think "Fuck You Mean" is a very just fun track that. I mean, dude, literally in any environment, I don't see one that you don't enjoy playing that song in.
Yeah. No, I agree. Fire album.
Nice. Fire album. Shout out to him. But all right, cool, man. Episode 145 in the books. Every episode up on every platform. Let the people know what we got going on. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Check us out at audio-theory.com. New episode every week on all platforms. We also have the Spotify and Apple Music playlist for the weekly Heat of the Week selection. If you're on YouTube, check down below for the merch. copy a hoodie, t-shirt, sticker, whatever you want. And otherwise, like, share, subscribe, donate, do whatever you can to support the channel, and comment.
Comments coming in hot and heavy, so we appreciate that. But as always, hit the fucking like button. I love you. Talk
Love you
soon.
too. Peace.
Peace.